So, what to tell? Practically, literally and officially, and in a very ritualistic way also, we have successfully completed the Chardham Yatra. Himalayas Yatra. Every time when I come to Himalayas, it gives me so much of confidence, courage, spirit, enthusiasm and energy. I wonder, actually, I always used to think the enlightened masters doesn't need courage or doesn't need energy, doesn't need enthusiasm, because everything is constantly pouring from their being. But I tell you one thing, even though everything is constantly expressing in their being, pouring out in their being, the body which they need, the body which they use, that how much that body is digesting or taking the inspiration or energy and enthusiasm, that percentage dramatically increases inside Himalayas. Understand, it's very subtle and deep truth. The percentage of energy, confidence, courage and enthusiasm radiated by my being is said, that never increases or decreases, that is constant. But assimilated by my body simply differs the moment I enter into Himalayas. If this is the case for enlightened masters, then what will be the amount of energy, courage, trust, confidence assimilated by your beings, by your bodies and minds? It's amazing energy field. Every time you come back and go, not only the scene, even the lifestyle is so inspiring. When you see 50,000 people gather every evening, today evening, the ritual which you attended, just 50,000 people gather every evening. Last time when we were here, it was 2 lakh because we were on the new moon day. On the new moon day, 2 lakh people. On full moon day, 7 lakh people. They gathered on the Archipudi. But in ordinary days like today, today is the ordinary day. Don't think today is any festival. Today is an ordinary day, like a working day. Like working day. Today 50,000 people are sitting there. Can you imagine? And the show which is done is not a big show. Just they are shaking the lamp, light. You will see 10 times better shows in Las Vegas. There is no colorful thing. There is no attraction for senses. But see the depth of faith and the lifestyle in the bones and marrows of their being. The faith and trust has penetrated. The faith and trust on existence has penetrated to the bones and marrows. 50,000 people sitting just to see 10-20 priests waving the lamp in front of a river. And with so much of devotion, with such a lot of devotion, with such a lot of respect, with such a lot of the feeling of what to say, excitement. That is why Vivekananda says, spirituality is backbone of this country. I tell you, that is the only bone of this country. Nothing else. That is the only bone of this country. From top to bottom, they established only energy centers. Actually, yesterday when I said that 52 parts of Sadi fell all over India, it just fell like a body. The Sahasrara fell in the Manasarovar, Kailash. And the Agnya fell in the Chandi temple. Today you all would have gone. All of you went? Did you all go to the temple?
Yes.
On the top of the hill? That is the place where the three eyes, the Agnya fell. This area fell. And the next, this area fell in the different place. The tongue fell in Calcutta. Something like that completely. And the feet fell in Kanyakumari. Means the end of the South India. The tip of South India. That's why if you go to the last rock on which Vivekananda Memorial is there will be a place called Kumaripada, the Devi's feet. Any of you have been there? You will see the Devi's feet. In that same mandapam, in that same rock, one side Vivekananda's rock, Memorial, just in front of it you will see the Devi's feet. The feet fell on that place. Throughout, the whole country was connected in one tradition, one backbone, that is trust, faith on the higher energy. Faith on the higher energy. Faith on the existence. Faith on God, Brahman, or whatever word we use. Amazing power and strength. I tell you, even unconscious is prepared. In India, this Vedic lifestyle prepares even your unconscious from the birth to go towards the spirituality, towards enlightenment. Whenever I see the Himalayas and this great tradition created by these Vedic rishis, I literally feel humbled. I literally feel I am a dust. All of you should know the facts. To tell you honestly, when you take me separately and see me, I may look like a big guy or a big figure. But if you see the whole, his lifestyle, I am just a dust. When you travel in the bus, you will see thousands of sadhus walking on the road and traveling. See, when I said all this Chardham, I went by walk. I did by walk. You guys think that it's a big job. Oh, it's a big job. He's a great guy. He did the whole thing by walk. But if you see the roads, you would have seen how many hundreds of thousands of sadhus walking. When you go in bus, you can see side. Did you all see the sadhus walking? No much property. Only one shawl, one kamandalu, one iron piece to lit the fire, tongs. The tongs to take care of the fire. That's all is the property. And actually I am one among those thousands. Because there is no second person in this group, you think I am a big guy. Otherwise I am just one among those people, those millions, those thousands. It's not a big thing. I am just one dust from that tradition. But I tell you, I feel proud about that. Even if I am a dust, let me be dust in that heap. Let me be dust in that great tradition and great sacrifice. And the tremendous amount of tapas and the tremendous amount of self-sacrifice. You can't imagine. See one thing, people who walk the Chardham, it is not that they don't have money. Actually, in North India, even if you don't have money, every bus will accept you to travel with you. Every bus will take you. And after all, the bus charge is hardly 100 rupee. If you sit in one place and beg, you will get 200 rupee. I know the average income of per day every beggar gets. Because I lived 9 years. I lived 9 years, of course. One thing, I never begged in the whole 9 years. I never begged. Always food came to me. Whenever it was necessary, food came to me. And of course, Raghupati Yogi taught me many beautiful techniques to take care of your liver. If the liver is taken care, you will not have hunger. He has taught me the techniques to keep the liver clean and active. So that constantly liver takes care of the whole system. Actually, liver is the only thing which takes care of the whole system. If the liver one is kept clean and alive, the whole system will be taken care. According to yoga, we touch only liver, nothing else. If the liver is taken care, you will neither be disturbed by hunger, nor you will be disturbed by cold. Nor you will be disturbed by cold. Anyhow, that's different. But I never begged because the society was such, people always constantly gave. Constantly they were giving. These sadhus who walk, they do not walk just because they don't have money. They walk purposely as a self-sacrifice, as a self-discipline, as a tapas. Because you think that they can't get 200, 300 rupees for bus. Simply they can get. That's not a big thing at all. And if you just sit with this clothes, that is enough. So many people get money. But they walk just because they trust in self-discipline. And the amount of tapas and the amount of the self-sacrifice and the great truth, Jage Naike Amritva Manasu. Without sacrifice, the Amritatva, immortality, eternity cannot be achieved. So much of Jaga is done for the Amritatva, means the eternity, for achieving the enlightenment, for the inner science. The amount of research and development happened in the field of consciousness and the inner science, just unimaginable, conceivable. You can't think. Apart from the people who came outside of India, who saw this lifestyle and the tradition, even for Indians it's a big transformation. Even Indians wouldn't have seen this lifestyle. If you talk to the Indians, they will tell you, even they do not know this lifestyle. Even, it's not that all Indians are staying in Himalayas. No, even they do not know this lifestyle. Even for them it will be new. That is why in Tamil I was firing other day. Because even they do not know this lifestyle. Culturally they lost the roots. Even for them it's a rejuvenation. It's a big rejuvenation and inspiration. This whole trip and the lifestyle and this whole thing, it was such a rejuvenation and inspiration. Actually, to tell you honestly, today morning, when we went to search the Shankar Maharaj temple, practically we lost the hope. At one point, I was talking to Ramanandan, telling him, I don't know, because I don't know the address. I never thought I will reminisce all these things and I will bring people to show all these things. Because that time it was only one small incident. You see, if I planned that I will bring so many people, I would have kept the address. I would have kept the way. I know only 3-4 information. from my memory because 10 years ago it happened. Only 3-4 information. One, that Shiva statue will be sitting because that was completely in my heart, printed. Meditating. Another one, there is a small white buildings around. The size of the temple is half of the Gita Mandir. That was the size of the temple. And next to Gita Mandir, you have to walk in a small mud road. These are the 3-4 information. And you know in Haridwar, every house has got 2 temples. Every house has got 2 temples. When we walked, we were not able to find. And finally, we were about to give up. And I told Ramanathan, I don't know the address or the name of the ashram. And you can see it's a very small thing. It is not a huge construction. And I do not even know that that is a part of another one wing, another one ashram. Because it looks like a separate unit. See, even the size of construction and all, it looks like a separate unit. I feel it must be a separate unit and handed over to the main ashram. Otherwise, why do they have, when they have such a huge temple that side, why do they have such a small temple this side? But Ramanathan was going on, asking everybody, saying this 4th thing. Shankar Maharaj sitting and somehow in this Hindi. Finally, one guy suddenly appeared. And again, it's also one more drama only today. Appeared and said, yes, come, there is a statue like that. Because when he took us to one small, many temples, I went and said, no, this is not. And finally to one temple I said, what is this? How many temples we are going to see? Then I said, I don't know whether they removed the statue from this temple. The size looks like this only, but the statue was there, the statue is not there. Ask them, at least there was a statue, any statue here. We went and asked. They said, no, there was no statue here, only Linga was there. But finally, suddenly when this guy came and took us, when I saw the Murti, again the same energy and the same joy overflowing, again the same inspiration and ecstasy. And it just filled me completely. It just filled me. And it's just, what to say that? It's so much of joy and ecstasy and overflowing energy, and it was really a wonderful experience. For all of you, it's a wonderful experience. Going and seeing some place, be very clear. All these incidents are creating histories. You are part of the history. Remember, whether you want or not, you have become part of the history. Because you can say, first time you only went and found the temple again. After 10 years, when Swamiji first time went to the temple again, we only asked the route and we only went back to the temple. Because I know only these 2-3 information. Because I was not able to recollect all the information. Only these 2-3 things. But all 2-3 things, like a picture, we took it out and finally anyhow we found. And another one thing, unique thing is, nowhere else you will see that kind of that murti in the whole area. That's why we were able to find. It was a wonderful experience. Wonderful thing.